It was a ordeal, and I've said in the past, Pearland is super supportive. They really, really wanted us there, but they weren't about to bend or break or look behind the other way on any rules on anything. So we did have to follow every piece of their code, including putting sprinklers on my patio and stupid stuff. In my mind, which I'm sure they have good reason for having it in the code, but
and being the tip of the spear, you got to puncture a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape, right?
Yeah, there's quite a bit. Even as far as they didn't have any property zoned for a brewery, so in order to do that, we had to basically go through a zone change for the property that we're on right now. Well, it's easy to do a zone change if you're 3 acres, but if you're 2.94 acres like we are, it becomes another month.
Wow.
Because you have to do this zone approval for zone change thing.
You got to go to city council, have everybody vote on it.
Exactly.
How many city council meetings did you go to?
More than I ever thought I needed to go to, but I've been, for the brewery itself, at least 8 to 10, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Let's hear it for city government.
But I know all those people right now, and they're awesome. And
it used to be like an old Sunbelt Rentals location too, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yeah. So light manufacturing. We're like, oh yeah, we're just canning operation. We fit under this light manufacturing or whatever. And they're like, no. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, it's a tavern or I forget. There was like 6 other kind of things that we kind of were, and we're like, yeah, we're this, and they're like, no.
Then a crane comes in to lift the brew house off of the truck and lower it into the building.
What's funny is people still bring back equipment to that building. That's the funny thing.
Oh, they return it. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That still happens. It's not very often, but it happens once in a while.
Yeah. Just tell them to put it in the back.
Yeah, right.
Put it in the back and grab a beer.
Yeah, put it in the back and grab a beer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys have kind of like the biggest tap room around, though. I mean, you guys have a great space. We actually use their space for the first time for our first Girls Pine Out event. We did a trivia night there, and plenty of space. And Mike is just giggle tits over here. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Now, I got to believe, if you're, you're pretty close to the Friendswood line, right? But have you ever thought about how much more difficult it might have been in Friendswood? Because there's still no breweries. I mean, Friendswood's actually pretty hardcore about their alcohol laws.
They have a wine bar, so...
Yeah, and that's not too far from
it. Parts of Friendswood have been dry up until pretty recently. I mean, it's...
Well, and even that wine bar, when I've driven past it, it's pretty small and it's almost kind of hidden. It's not the easiest thing to see.
Yeah. Friendswood might be...
It looks like a flower shop to me. I thought it was a flower shop.
I kind of thought the same thing, actually. So.
I'm not calling Friendswood City Council out or anything, but I have to believe that would be more difficult than Pearland.
I don't know.
yeah. Well answered. Yeah. We'll move on. We'll move on. Hey, so Money Mike, what got your funny bone there a second ago?
Adam Smasher smashed me.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Oh, okay. That's right. Mike's following the video feed also.
What did I do? oh, you're laughing at your 5 nipples?
That's right.
Oh,
Houston radio legend Adam Smasher running the show.
The secret's out.
So speaking of secrets, so how do you guys feel about collaborations? Like, I think there's mixed reviews with breweries around town, whether they support collaborations. I'm actually still waiting for a collaboration with you and Val. I think that would be great. When is that going to happen? I mean,
when that boy steps running around as much as he is.
That's true.
That's the thing.
Right.
That's not true.
He's never still.
Yeah, I went there, I think the first weekend he opened or something like that, and between him being busy and us being busy, I don't think I see him other than random meetings and chance encounters. So, yeah.
But you guys are open to collaborations and things like that.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so we're calling them both out. We want a collaboration, right?
Yep.
Is that what you're saying, Sylvia?
Yeah, I want like a pear fruited ale or goza sour open fermentation. Make it happen, Mike.
I don't know if I'm going to mess with the open fermentation just yet.
I went real high in hopes.
My brew house needs to stay where it's at. With
Okay, so Mike, are you the principal brewer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is your past experience?
I actually started out same kind of thing with home brewing. I actually worked at a home brew shop when I lived in Rockford, Illinois. And started out there. The guy who was the manager was also a friend of mine, got me the job, and he knew a lot. He's actually since become a certified master brewer, and so I learned a lot from him. And we actually got to brew in the store and on a small 3-tier system. And I learned a lot from that, and then got away from it for a while, but always talked with him and other people that were into beer and into home brewing just to kind of keep it fresh in my mind. So when I moved down here, I literally just looked up local breweries in Pearland, and they popped up. And when I went in to apply, they had only actually been open a couple months. And so I did not realize that.
You've only been in the area for a couple of years.
Yeah, I've literally, this month is actually 2 years that I've lived in Houston.
Oh, wow.
The Houston area, so yeah, thank you.
Okay. Illinois is where you're from?
Yes, sir. I grew up outside of Chicago.
Nice.
Yep. So it kind of started there, and I had just applied and got hired as the delivery driver. And then our assistant brewer had to retire, and I expressed interest and started learning what I could from him as well to understand things on the grander scale, obviously, because home brewing is a lot different than a 30-barrel system.
It is, but it's still the same.
Still
brewing is all process.
Yes.
And once the core process is established, you have the process. And if you learn that process on that system, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, and everything made sense.
Yeah,
it all made sense. It was just seeing how it's done on a bigger scale and the differences with certain things. But, I mean, I knew the process, so it was just seeing how it's executed.
What's the most unexpected difference between the two systems?
Cleaning out that mash tun.
Climbing inside a tank, maybe, instead of just reaching into one?
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, we have the nice little bottom dropout. I can use the rakes to push a lot of grain out, but I still got to finish it off, so I got to get in there.
Okay, so...
and that's hot in the summer in Texas in a non-climate controlled area.
I have the perspective of going backwards again. I homebrew, and, dude, the mash... It's...
Yep.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And I gotta go in there. I gotta pull up screens. I gotta do. So you know how you can just reach in and pull out your false bottom.
Man,
I don't get to do that.
No, we used a pretty good sized rake, and we were 3 times smaller. 3, 4 times.
Yeah, four times smaller. Yeah, 7 barrels.
And it was still, man. I mean, you feel like you went to battle.
Oh yeah.
Today is it's a fight.
And then we had the one time the motor went out.
Oh yeah. Let us not forget when the rake motor went out. It was after the brew was done. It was just the grain. It stopped shifting the grain around. Stopped pushing the grain. So I didn't really get to cool things off too much, and I had to literally just kind of push things as I could without getting in as much as possible before getting in. Because, well, it's hot as shit in there with that kind of humidity. So,
about 168 degrees on a sparge temperature.
Yeah. I mean, it got down. I think we looked at the temp, and it said it was 130 when we first started climbing in there.
Your mash tun's jacketed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So yeah,
that was an experience. That was an experience. I'll tell you, I may have seen a few visions that day.
Yep.
And it's not like we're in Minnesota, so the ambient temperature's not bringing it down real quick.
No.
Can you hand me one of those Defying Gravity?
Absolutely.
I'd like to try one of the BAKFISH Defying Gravity that we've already actually had on the show.
Making a return to the show.
Kris was gracious enough to bless us with all this beer and put it on the table.
And we got to bring you guys some gifts, man.
Sylvia's blessed us with all this beer, and
I got a mystery beer here, too. I don't know what's going on with this mystery beer. Somebody left it at my house, and I was digging through the fridge, trying to figure out what to bring today, and I found that beauty, and I tasted it. Tastes good. I'm going to bring it. These guys will drink it.
All right, we're going to try to guess what it is.
Yeah, we'll try to figure it out later.
And there's at least a 23% chance it might be from BAKFISH, you said earlier?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so maybe. We're counting on you guys to put a guess to it.
Right. So you guys are brewing every day, twice a day? What's your schedule?
No.
With the system size right now, depending on the need, it could be twice a week if we need to double something up, or it may just be once a week, and then every now and then we kind of catch up with the production side. I might go a week or two without brewing. And then it's like anybody else who's been in a brew house understands, it's a lot of cleaning.
Yeah.
Because then you actually get time to clean.
Yeah, so you're looking at 200 barrels a month production?
We're due right about 100 right now.
Right about 100?
Or just under, yeah.
Sure. All averages out, because if you're properly aging your beers, then it's gonna that kind of catches up with you. That's kind of the thing that we did too. Andy would have us run campaigns, as he would call it, and we would campaign the beer out and then let it age and then run another campaign so that Like you're saying, you're brewing 2-3 times a week sometimes, and then you're not brewing for a couple of weeks.
Well, and especially, too, with doing canning on top of the kegging, that's sometimes, that's a whole batch that we will can and a whole batch that we will keg. So I might have to double up because I need kegs and cans at the same time.
You are doing mobile canning still?
Yes.
Correct.
Excellent.
Are you using Armadillo?
American.
Yep.
How's that working out for you?
They're outstanding, man.
Apparently pretty good.
They're outstanding. Yeah, they're great. Everything goes very smooth, and we always know what we need to get everything canned the way we want.
Right, and
they're
show
really
up
good.
at the door, and they're ready to go.
Oh yeah,
they're ready to go.
They don't mess around. We get going, and if we start right on the expected time, we're done within a few hours, and it's like, oh wow, we got all that done
impressive.
that fast.
Took right up to the bright tank.
Yep.
How many cans?
If it's a full batch, we're doing almost 400 cases.
Yeah.
400 cases.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
And it's only a few hours, honestly.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fast we can get that stuff knocked
What kind
out.
of truck is that on?
It's honestly a pretty standard sized box truck, like what, a 10-footer?
No.
So
You're right. It is
Ours
like a
is
20.
14.
Yeah, it is a 14, isn't it?
It's just
like 22 probably.
outfitted for producing cans.
Yeah, and a lot of their stuff kind of folds up. They have stuff designed to where some stuff can kind of condense a little bit within the truck too.
Pretty impressed.
Minimize the footprint.
Oh yeah, absolutely. First time I saw them roll everything out, just how easily they had it in the truck, how easily they got it out, set it up. It was
So
it was
if
incredible.
I remember right, you opened in March, but you started canning like in July or
No. We were at least 6 to 9 months later.
6 to 9 September. That's what it was. It was September. Yeah. And then you were already, and you're in the HEB in Pearland.
We're in several HEBs, Specs, Total Wine & More, Kroger.
Yep.
So one of the few.
I think you're in Arlen's. I think I've seen him in Arlen's. Maybe not.
I haven't seen him in Ireland. I'd like to see in Ireland.
Right.
So,
We'll work on that. We'll work on that.
So we're working on Whole Foods. We should be in them any minute now.
So what steps have you done? Do you think made the difference in your canning being so successful?
I like the artwork and then.
That's one of my favorite cans around.
And I remember when I saw the can designs early on. One of your outside sales reps shared it on Facebook, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. Yeah. I was like,
got the space nerd all excited.
Yeah, I'm easily excited.
But
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, please. I lost where I was going. So.
Making canning.
It's. I think there's a couple different things because I know when I first came in personally as on deliveries, they were only a few months into canning at that point. But since I've taken over with brewing, a lot of it's just finding ways to make the beer more consistent. And especially with the canning process, a lot of that's just the carbonation levels, and that's listening to your canner. So when they started telling us what they prefer for the sake of shelf life and everything else, it's like, okay, I know what to look for then because I know what I want for packaging if I'm kegging, but that's not necessarily the same as canning. And then also just, consistency with flavor and clarity and all that, and a lot of that just comes down to the brew process. And the amount of time I've been in the back now, which is a little over a year that I've been in the back.
Yep.
That sounds about
a little
right.
over a year. And actually brewing, I've just found a lot of ways to make things more consistent.
Okay, so you're mentioning carbonation. So this is probably at about a 2 volume.
2.6.
Probably. They prefer for safe canning anywhere from 2.6 to 2.7.
So they want it higher than you would normally put it in a keg,
depending on the style, give or take.
That one I'll put in the keg at 2.6.
You will?
Yeah.
What about like Defying Gravity?
Defying Gravity, I like around 2.5.
Yeah. But for canning's sake, we still want 2.6.
Yep.
So it is a difference. You do have to bump it up just a little bit.
And
get your temperature and your saturation right.
Right, and a lot of that again just comes down to what they prefer as the canners for the sake of your shelf life and consistency with it.
It's not going to affect the flavor. It's going to affect maybe the mouthfeel.
A little bit, yeah.
But you're not going to feel 2.5 and 2.6. You're not going to be able to go. Yeah, that's 2.5 right there.
Right.
2.6.
If you had them side by side, maybe.
Yeah.
Now, for the trillions of listeners that don't know what 2.5, 2.6 means, Mike, you want to explain what you're talking about?
That's the volume of CO2 that's been absorbed into the product or the beer.
Awesome. So people are learning something new.
So temperature and saturation both combine into what we call volumes, which is their 2.6 number. And depending on the volume, it'll be either more or less carbonated. What is this, Kris? What do you got?
That's our Texas Rattlesnake.
No. No, it's Ram Y'all. It's Ram Y'all.
It's a beer so good it's got 2 names.
Yes.
Okay.